I honestly haven't found a lot of video content featuring you online, so I think it's a very nice opportunity for you to share more information with our audience today. I'm curious about your way into the affiliate industry in general. What made you, how did you end up here? And then we're going to talk about what led to event organizing.
Yeah, it was actually quite a coincidence. Basically, I was studying here in Spain, in Barcelona, at the university, and then a payment provider, online payment provider here in Barcelona, actually was looking for a sales rep for the German market. So I applied for that position, and then I was hired. And then with that, I got to know the affiliates and the online market in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. That was my first main markets. And then later on I got promoted and also was the chief for Eastern Europe. So I got to know a lot of affiliates and online people in the East. And since I speak German, English and Spanish, I would also go to all the conferences in the English-speaking markets. I would go to the conference in the German-speaking markets. I would go to the conference in the Spanish-speaking markets. And that's how it was like 16 years ago. Every language group, every country had their own affiliate gatherings. And I was always sitting there and thinking someone should actually bring all the people from around the world together. Why is nobody doing that? Yeah. And what I didn't realize in the past was that working for a French company based in Spain, in the German market and in Eastern Europe, and going to the English-speaking events and the Spanish-speaking events and the German-speaking events, I had a network that at that moment basically nobody else in the world really had. So that was I never realized until someone who actually ran a conference in the German-speaking market approached me and said, "Hey, you have all those contacts around the world. I have already a successful conference here in Germany. Why don't we partner up? You bring in all the international network, and I bring in the infrastructure, and then we create the first really international conference out there." And that kind of made sense. So we met, and we already had a deal in place. And a little bit later, then the person contacted me and said, "Yeah, basically, I want to modify the details of the deal." And then it was a very one-sided deal, where I then suddenly told myself, "Look, I mean, basically, I bring in my international network, and the other person brings in renting a hotel and some catering, which is basically not how complicated can that be?" And then basically in 2029, I contacted a lot of people and say, "Hey, how about we start a pan-European or a worldwide conference?" And then everyone said, "Yeah, but number one, who are you? And number two, how do you think you will get that done?" And then basically I said, "Yeah, basically, I mean, you only have to go to Google.de in Germany, and you put in affiliate terms, and whoever is on the first page obviously has traffic. So those people you would then invite, and then you go onto the Spanish Google site, Google ES, and you put in Spanish affiliate terms, and whoever shows up on the first page obviously has traffic. And if you do that over all the language groups and over all the countries in Europe, all the people that you contact obviously have traffic." And then I had like 2-3 companies that bought into the story. And basically in 2009, before we even had a formal company open, we already had funding on our bank account. Yeah. So we didn't even have a website, we didn't have a company, but we already had the funding money together because people really bought into that. Wow. That story. And then I remember that at the beginning of 2009, I was running around in the US telling people, "Hey, in 3 months we have a conference with 300 people from 30 countries in Barcelona." And everyone again was like, "Who are you?" And so basically,
like, it seemed unrealistic for
it didn't sound realistic, and if someone would tell me the same today, I would say it's not realistic. But then I think one of the things we did well at the beginning of the whole conference was called the Barcelona Summit. And I think a lot of the people that attended, they said, oh, this thing is going to fail. But I get a company paid for a vacation in Barcelona, so that's great. So most people, I think, showed up and said, yeah, this is going to go against the wall. But then I just tell the company, nothing was there. And people go out, have some nice tapas, have some sun. So I think the whole hosting it first in Barcelona was a lucky coincidence. And then basically what we did at the beginning was, again, before the shows were very small and localized, so you had a conference in the UK, you had one in Germany, you had one in Spain, always for the local market. And what I then said, if there are, let's say, 15 conferences around the world, or let's say 20 conferences around the world, if I go into every single conferences and I only get 10, 15 people out of each conference, and I bring them to mine, then I have a brand new conference with people that I've never met before. Yeah. So, and that's basically what happens. And really large established payment providers and companies arrived at the conference and said, hey, how did you do this? I don't know anyone here. We usually at every show know everyone. That's when I said, yeah, because you always go to the same show. So obviously that's why you know everyone there. But we just mixed up all the conference from 20, 30 countries. And with that, build a new conference where even the largest player didn't know the majority of the other people that were there. And that's basically how we started, with about 300 people in Barcelona in 2009. And then they liked what we did. And then they invited their business friends. They said, oh, there's a new kid on the block. They're doing something good for the industry. You should check it out. So then half a year later, we were 400 people. Then those people liked what we did. They talked positive about it. Then half a year later, we had 500 people. And ever since 16 years, we basically grow about 100 people every half a year. So we never explode. We never grow much. But we constantly add another 100 people. And that basically until recently, everything happened through word of mouth. So it was just people liking what we do, telling their friends, hey, you should also come along. So for the first 10 years, we didn't have any money for marketing or for anything. So we basically just lived on referrals. And only since 2-3 years now, we actually have the funds that we start to put some money towards advertising ourselves on social media. And that we will now build out a little bit more and more. I mean, we can speak about it later. Next year, we're planning to do a really big show in Seville. So for that, then we'll reserve more marketing money and make sure that we then really grow this thing. But until now, we've always grown steady, but good. But now we've also in Prague and Marbella reached our limit. I mean, we're only going to sell 1,700 tickets just because we don't have more space. And then, as I said, next year we want to push it, because in Seville our hotel can easily host 4,000 or 5,000 people. So that's a dimension that we've never had before.
You said that you did not expand that much, right? You didn't grow that much. So TES has been running from 2009, right? And back then we didn't have like such big expos, right? But now we do. What about TES? Do you aim to expand, to grow it like some other, massive conference right now? Or there's something intentional about keeping it more intimate?
Yeah. Well, of course, we would like to grow it a little bit more, but then also there comes a natural limit to it, because basically all the other larger conferences are real expos, so taking place in an expo center. And in an expo center or a ballroom, you can place as many people as you like. I mean, you just go one size larger and you're done. But since we are doing our conference, since we rent out exclusively a hotel, there comes a limit of what size of hotel you can actually rent out in Europe. I mean, it's not Las Vegas where you have hotels where you can fit in tens of thousands of people. In Europe, a large hotel can maybe host in a nice ambience maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people, and that I think then we're already speaking about some of the larger hotels in Europe. And if we could get our hands on one of those, then that would probably be the target, but then also the end, because what you have to understand, we're mainly a networking event. Our events are very family style, very cozy, very warm. And if we would take our group into a ballroom or a conference center, the whole atmosphere of the conference would be ruined, and our clients wouldn't like it. So as said, our limitation is that there are only hotels that large in Europe. But as I said, even that, if you set it up well, I do think that you can make family style cozy events with 3,000-4,000 people, where people, if it's set up well, wouldn't even realize how large the whole thing is. I mean, even now that we're close to 2,000 people still refer to us as a boutique event, and 2,000 people is larger than some of the events that the big conferences host throughout Europe. So we're quite large already, but people don't really realize it, and we want to keep it like that.
You know that a lot of people call the TES as home conference, right? Probably because of such concept. But what does this really mean to you, this coziness, this home type of conference?
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. I mean, that's the maximum you can achieve. But that's also quite recently, until 2022. People always liked our conference, that's clear, but only since Lisbon in 2023, people started more and more to refer to our conferences as a family reunion, and that is, that's really the best that can happen to you, because then you have a group that sticks together, and it's just beautiful to see if you create something like that. And I'm always amazed when people arrive at our conferences. People are they're just so happy. They're hugging each other. I mean, it's really like a family reunion, and everyone is so excited and happy about it. And everyone is. I mean, that's just people always ask me, why are your conference still growing when other ones are shrinking? What's the difference? And I mean, anyone can order some catering and hang a banner, so that's that's not really that difficult. But what I always say, what's different at our shows is the underlying energy that you cannot really define. When I walk into a room, everyone is loud, is happy. Everyone's turning immediately into an Italian. So everyone's like very, very happy and loud, and it's just the underlying energy that obviously you cannot really define why that is. But I always notice that is the difference between us and other conferences.
So the bottom line is that you'd like to grow it up to like 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? But
if we would find a suitable venue, as I said, of everything we do,
like a huge hotel.
Yeah, of everything we do, honestly, the only difficult thing that we do is to get the hotel right. And hotel right means not that it has to be the most luxurious or most beautiful hotel. Even the contrary. I noticed that when we started, we looked at what's everyone else doing, and everyone else was in 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, so we need a 5-star hotel. So we started in a 5-star hotel. And what I realized after a while is then we moved around hotels, and one time we ended up in a 4-star hotel. And what I realized was people are a lot, after the first impression of, this is a 5-star hotel and this is a 4-star hotel, afterwards, what I realized is people are much more themselves in a 4-star hotel than in a 5-star hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. Like in a 5-star hotel, if a glass of red wine falls over, then I have to go to the GM and I have to explain why there's a red wine in the carpet or on the wall or on the window. So it's all very important, very, very complicated. a million of rules that you have to follow in a 5-star hotel. In a 4-star hotel, if a glass of red wine falls over, someone cleans it up, and you continue your talk. So it's just when the hotel personnel is much more relaxed, then also our guests can be a lot more relaxed.
Because you organize conferences in hotels, right? In 4-star hotels, as you mentioned. I want to ask you about the location. How do you choose it? What are the key factors that make you think that, okay, this location is nice. We have to host events here every year, or no, we have to move on from this one?
Yeah, as I said, that's the most difficult part of everything we do. The hotel just has to work. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but just has to work. And when we had the hotel in Lisbon, I mean, there was just a glass house basically, but everything was on one level, and people can see each other from every corner of the hotel. So that's very good for networking. So basically, it has to be a hotel with a lot of open spaces so that people can find each other. It's important that there's a lot of daylight, because I've done a conference, or I've attended conferences in like expo centers or ballrooms, and to work 2-3 days without natural daylight, without fresh air on your feet is very, very hard, I find. And so we say, why not do the same with daylight, with fresh air, with nice armchairs, to make it a little bit nicer. And as I said, the hotel just has to work. It has to have a nice flow. And as I said, large open spaces, lots of daylight, an outside area where people can grab some fresh air. So yeah, that's basically, it's difficult to describe, but what wouldn't work for us is like a hotel, very box in box, where it's like difficult to find people. Or also, basically for us in Europe, only the old hotels basically work, because back in the days, people still had the money to build horizontal. So the old hotels are quite on one level. New hotels wouldn't work for us, because nowadays ground is so expensive that everyone is building towers. That we had at the very first conference, and that's terrible, because then basically you have the speed networking on the 9th floor, you have the food on the 8th floor, you have seminars on the 7th floor, you have the expo on the 6th floor. So basically you're spending the entire day only in the elevator. So best for us works a very large structure that it's built horizontal, so that would be older hotels. And as I said, there are not so many in Europe that have the funds to maintain such a type of hotels.
For example, the one in Sevilla, right? Are you planning to host more conferences there?
Definitely, yeah. We're going back there next March, in March 2027. And yeah, that hotel is what I said. We're planning to do our largest show ever there next. Yeah,
because I think
March.
that's exactly what you described.
Yeah, because there we have space for, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 people. So there we can really push it. Whereas now in Marbella, maybe we fit 1,700. In Prague, 1,700 is already a stretch. So, but yeah, in Seville, that hotel definitely has, everything is more or less on one level. And it's still a huge hotel, so there, yeah, we could eventually grow into an event of 4,000 or 5,000 people. So that would be the hotel that we have in Seville is pretty ideal. If I could find the same structure, the same layout, the same type of hotel in more cities in Europe, then I would immediately go there. Now people always ask me, hey, Andreas, why don't you go to this city or to that city or to this city? Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury anymore to pick a city. I mean, basically, when we're talking about hotels of the size that we rent now in Seville, there are not so many in Europe. And if there's one of those in Berlin, then we will go to Berlin. And if there's one of those in Lisbon, then we'll go there to Lisbon. It's not that I can say, I want to go to this city or that city. If there's no venue of that size, then the city can be as nice as
you cannot consider it as an option.
It wouldn't work, because most of the time people will stay at the venue and do business. As you said before, people barely ever leave our events only in the evening to go for dinner and for a party. But otherwise, from the early morning until the early evening, people will always be at the conference, because there's food, there's drinks, there's absolutely no need or no reason to leave. And if you leave, people will have the feeling that they're missing something, that something is happening at the conference that they shouldn't be missing. Mm-hmm. So most people don't dare to leave until the evening, where we say, okay, now it's over and everyone is leaving. Then they say, oh yeah, okay, now it's dead. Now I also leave. But during the day, we barely ever have people escaping into Seville or Prague or into Marbella.
Let's talk about the attendees at your conference. When you just created TES, did you have more focus on advertisers or publishers? Because I heard from many people that TES feels more publisher friendly, like that publishers there, specifically publishers, like really thrive at TES. What would you say about that?
Yeah, when we started in 2009, basically we only had one entrance ticket, and of course someone has to pay for the whole event. So we were quite focusing on affiliate programs, affiliate networks, payment providers, the typical sponsors, the people that usually put money behind a conference. Because obviously, number one, the whole thing has to be paid for, otherwise you're out of business. So we also approached first the larger, more brand name affiliate programs, affiliate networks, and that was okay. But then what they told us was, look, we're now a lot of buyers, let's say, but there's no sellers, there's no affiliates, no media buyers, no publishers, no people of relevance to us at your conferences, and so that's the only issue that we have with your conference. And then we talked with our sponsors and we said, how about we make the conference for free for affiliates, and people say, yeah, that could be interesting. And then we were actually the first ones out there that started the whole affiliates enter for free. And with that, obviously, then we started to bring in more and more affiliates. So I think that helped that we made it for free. I always worried about if you give something for free, it's not quite sure how the quality of those people will turn out. But so far, everyone's always super happy. We managed to have a very high standard of attendees, luckily. And then I think the affiliates also liked that they got the free entrance, the free food and drinks, and they're also doing business there. But also, I think they like to be part of the family, and maybe I hope. I mean, everyone wants affiliates and everyone wants media buyers, but I hope that they get a little bit less harassed at our shows than at other shows. So I think they obviously, as an affiliate, you're always everyone wants to talk to you, so you have to be aware of it. But I think I think it's still quite okay for them at our conference. And again, I think they also talk to each other and say, hey, look, I got a free ticket, I learned something, I made a couple of good contacts, had a good time. You should also get away from your computer and check it out, because usually affiliates don't get out of the house much, and if they can meet up with some other affiliate friends, I think they enjoy that.
What do publishers tell you they like the most about your conference?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think everyone likes the same. I think the whole family thing is just the main thing that everyone really very much appreciates. I think that makes life easier for everyone. If you're a publisher, if you're not, it's just. I sometimes have new people contacting me and say, "Hey, Andreas, I've never been to your conference. Can you give me some advice or something?" And I always say, "Hey, look, they're all very nice. Nobody bites. Everyone's very helpful. Just ask." I mean, and also with all the networking events and the parties and everything, you will get to know 1, 2, 3 people. And once you have the first domino stone, then the rest will fall in its place. I mean, just get to know 2, 3, 4 people during the meat market or during a party or something, and then after that, just ask. I mean, if they don't know, they'll go out of their way to help. And if they say, "Yeah, I need a provider for this or that," and if that the person you ask, if he doesn't know, he'll ask someone who knows, and it's the same that it works even in my own life as organizer. I mean, people sometimes ask me industry specific questions, and I have no idea because I'm not from the industry. I mean, I host the event, I know how to hang a banner and order some coffee, but I'm not an affiliate. I don't own any websites, so I'm the person with the least knowledge in the entire conference, but everyone thinks that I do know something. So people sometimes ask me questions, and I say, "Yeah, I don't know, but let me ask people." And then obviously I have 2,000-3,000 potential people that I can ask. And if I ask people and they don't know, then they will ask someone else. And the latest, after 2-3 people asking each other, I can provide a decent answer to any question. And that's the same, I think, with the publishers. If people are not very protective with their knowledge at our conference. I mean, you'll see all the payment providers fighting during the day for a client. And at night, they're at the bar having a laugh and a drink together. Same with the ad networks. I mean, during the day, they fight for the same publishers and affiliates, etc. But at night, they stand at the bar and have a laugh together. So that's also very nice in our industry that competitors compete during the day, but in the evening they're all great. And it's also in our industry, you never know what you are tomorrow. As I said, I started in a payment company, then later on I did something with content. Now I do something with a conference. So people wear different hats during different times in our industry, and sometimes people wear 3 hats at the same time. Some companies, they own a payment company, they own an affiliate company, and they own different products, and maybe even their competitors that compete maybe in the German market, but in the French market they say, "I have traffic, but I have nothing," and the other guy said, "Yeah, I have a product, but I don't have traffic." And then those competitors, they work together in this market and compete in the other market. So they're providers and competitors at the same time. So that's quite nice to. You can never burn all the bridges here, because tomorrow the person can wear a totally different hat. Mm-hmm. So today he's a competitor, tomorrow maybe he's a customer. So people, as I said, we've been doing this for 16 years, and I've never been any issues or any problems. And as I said, everyone's also very, very likable. I always say, if I would be in any other industry, I don't know, insurance sales, shoe sales, whatever, I'm sure there are 5 or 10% of my clients that I really couldn't stand. Mm-hmm. But with our clients, as I said, we have over 2,000, and I cannot think of anyone that I cannot that I don't like.
TES has always been the multi-vertical conference, right? Now with the more AI-driven products coming into the industry, like subscription platforms, how do you see them fitting into the TES ecosystem? Mm-hmm. And what verticals are, not the most welcome, but the most popular right now at your event?
Yeah. I mean, originally we came actually from the... in 2009, we came very much from the adult side. So that was our our first core business that we had. So we brought together pretty much everyone who was involved in adult entertainment worldwide, and then we cornered that market. And then as the next layer, we added online dating. So I think by now we're also worldwide, probably the largest conference when it comes to online dating. And now we're adding more and more, I think what the banks would call high-risk verticals. So as we said, iGaming, iGambling, Nutra, health, wealth, those things. So everything that the banks would maybe call high risk, I think that's a part of the online industry that we now want to cover. And AI is definitely a huge topic at the moment. I think at the last conference we had, I think over a dozen presentations only based on AI. So at the moment,
for the first time.
Yeah. So so I think the two hot topics at the moment for us is definitely AI by far, and I think AI can improve any business that we just talked about. I mean, I'm sure there's adult specific AI, there's dating specific AI, there's iGaming specific AI, iGambling specific AI. Everything in life will be attached to AI in the future. So AI is definitely a number one topic of all of our seminars at the moment. AI is number one. And then the second one that's also a big topic at the moment is age verification, because a lot of countries now start for more and more industries, again, adult dating, iGaming. A lot of countries more and more want to see the end consumer to be verified. So age verification at the moment is also a very, very popular topic.
I have a question as an attendee myself. TES is a 2-day conference, right? But we have a mid-market before the main part of the conference, right? And every time I wonder, what was the idea behind creating a mid-market? Because for me personally, mid-market is basically the same networking day, like you meet new partners, you connect, network with existing partners. So what was the idea behind the mid-market? Why not make it just a 3-day conference, let's say, or just a 2-day conference? I'm curious about your perspective.
At the beginning, again, what I said, when we started, we just looked what everyone else was doing, and they were doing a meat market, and we're like, okay, so we should do a meat market also. If everyone else does one, let's do one. So, and then at the beginning, we did the meat market during those 2 days, like everyone else does, and then we bumped into the problem that actually we were telling sponsors, hey, look, the meat market is now happening. And they said, yeah, but I have a business launch. I'm sitting here. I'm already doing business. It's fresh air. It's daylight. I'm sitting here. I'm doing business. Why should I get up and go into this dark room over there to do exactly the same? So our meat markets were always a complete failure. Everyone was already doing business. So they're like, yeah, why should I go into the dungeon if I'm already doing business here in an armchair? So our meat markets were always a complete failure, total disaster during our conference. Was always the worst event. And then actually I saw that you could also do it in a different way. I actually saw this idea at the Affiliate Summit in New York. They also do the meat market the day before the expo, and I found that to be a very good idea, and I thought we should copy actually that. And now the meat market actually has two differences from the normal exhibition. Number one, the meat market is priced at 1,300 euros, a lot more economic than a business launch that starts at 5,000 euros. So more and more smaller companies can afford a meat market table that cannot afford yet a business launch. So it's a good way to test the waters if the event is for you or not. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of an exhibitor for 2.5 hours, but you're not really an exhibitor. So you make a reasonable investment, see what's coming back, and if you see during the meat market I made enough business, then maybe next year I should invest really into a business launch to have a presence for 2 days. But no, the main thing that I see with the meat market now is I always tell people the meat market is basically only there for the people who have a business launch. The meat market is basically only there to pre-sort people. So people come to your business, to your meat market, and basically you talk to them 10 seconds, 20 seconds, not long. And if it sounds more or less interesting, then you say, oh, let's meet during the next 2 days at our business launch, and then we can take as much time as we want. Or you talk to other people and say, not interesting, then you just take the business card and you don't invite them to your business launch. So I think the meat market is just a way to create, to pre-sort a lot of leads. So you talk to 100 people during the time, and as said, to the 20 or 30 that are really of relevance actually to you and that you have an interest in, you say, now we can follow up on this initial talk during the next two days. So the meat market now is a lot of people just use to create leads for the 2 expo days.
I want to talk about your partnership with Walter as well. How did you start your journey together, and how do you complement each other in running your event?
Walter, where to start? How far do we want to go back? I mean, first I met Walter because we, with some other former business partners, we were looking into buying a live camp site, a German live camp site, and we needed an investor for it. So they introduced me to Walter, and he was supposed to find us investors to help us finance the buy of that German camp platform. And then that deal fell through, and I continued to stay in touch with Walter. And then at some point, I was in between companies, and he had opened a real estate company, an online real estate company in Barcelona. So he said, hey, you're an onliner, maybe you can help me out. So I helped him with that project, and then through the real estate bubble that didn't work out. So then that company got closed, and then I started with TES, and then more and more people got interested in, more and more work piled up, and Walter said, I'm at the moment between companies, between jobs, and if you need some help, I can help you out. So sure, come along, take a look. And at the beginning he said, I'll help you, but he was not really convinced about the whole thing. So but it was an employment, paid the bills, and good. And then we did the first conference. And then he said, wow, those are really, really nice people. This is really fun. This is a really great project. And then he said, I'll stay on board for a little longer. And then we did a couple of shows together. And he said, this is really, really nice. I would like to be involved in the project long term. And then at some point, as I said before, he was an employee. And then at some point I said, if you want to stick around long term, then you'll also get some shares in the company. So now we're both shareholders and in it for the long run. We're both not really money driven. I mean, Walter and I can live with very little. And as I said, when we entered this whole thing, it was more like there were like 20 conferences ahead of us, and we were the new kid on the block. And our thing was always, let's play. And eventually, we wanted to play in the Champions League, and at some point, we wanted to compete for the title. And at some point, the idea was to win it. Now we won it, and now we want to stay up there. So for us, it's a little bit more of a game. So it's not. As I said, I think, as I said before, other people have other ideas, but I think we're also not a very maximized company. I mean, if you go into a typical American marketing book, I think they would be very unhappy with us, because there's always like, how to squeeze the last. We're still running pretty much nearly with the same ticket price, I think our ticket price like 130 more than 16 years ago. Sponsorships were, I think, 5 or 10% more than 16 years ago. So, I mean, I don't think we get to 1% price increase per year over 16 years. So, and being sold out every conference, I'm sure we could still maximize our profits, but it's not the idea. I don't know. We're having a good life. We're doing well, and other people also. And not everything has to be optimum at the optimum or maximized in this world.
So that's just not the goal.
No, not really. The goal is that we have a good life and we have a nice project, and that's already I don't know. When I started work life after my studies, I would look into the newspaper for jobs, and I would like terrible, boring, terrible, and I'm like, okay, there's no job for me out there. Then I did my first jobs, and I guess I always made them well. I got promoted, but nothing. Every morning I had to motivate myself to get out of bed, and now with this is as I said, it's a very friendly group that we have to deal with. We all know each other by first name. It's as I said, it's family style. If people ask us to do something, we in 99% do it. If we cannot, we cannot. And also, if at some point we have to raise the price because there's COVID or something going on, and we do. Then there's never any argument. People just know, if Walter and I, if we say we have to do this or that, and even though it's not nice, then people just say, if they say that's how it is, that's how it is. I mean, nobody, if we ever had to, as I said, raise the price a little bit, nobody ever came back and started to argue, because that we've never really. I think we've always treated people well over the years. So if they get some bad news once in a while from us, then they know that it's not meant in a bad way.